Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm David Tennant. In the news this week, cycling on the way to his allotment, Jeremy Corbyn regrets taking a shortcut through the local synagogue car park. As talks between Russia and North Korea continue, Kim Jong-un's translator finds new ways to kill time until the next meeting. And at the BBC studios in Salford, it looks like one of the contestants may be late for the final of Mastermind. On Ian's team tonight is a comedian who, because of the current political crisis, has got herself an Irish passport. Nothing wrong with that. The way things are going, in 2 years' time, I'll be able to get a Scottish one. Please welcome Zoe Lyons. And with Paul tonight is a Conservative MP whose second job, partly funded by the marketing company for a bond scheme that lost savers millions, has caused him to sue the BBC. And that's before we've even started the show. Please welcome, along with his legal team, Johnny Mercer MP.
This is great. It's a libel action and I haven't joined in yet.
So we start with the bigger stories of the week. Paul and Johnny, take a look at this.
OK, so yes, President Trump is visiting this country in June. There he is, waving goodbye. And yes, the big balloon that we had before, the blimp, is going to be even bigger. Going to be 5 times bigger or something like that. He's going to meet the Queen. She has to put up with a lot, really, doesn't she? There he is with his carer.
Yes, indeed. This is the invitation to President Trump for a state visit to Britain. It's very short notice. Why the rush?
I think it's because no one wanted him to come.
Right.
And I think the Queen was hoping that he would have forgotten.
And although it's a state visit, though, he can't stay in Buckingham Palace. Does anyone know why?
They're doing renovations, aren't they? It was very handily timed.
Isn't that handy?
Isn't it? We'd love you to stay. But the spare room is being repainted. So instead they're staying in a Travelodge near Acton.
Yes. According to the palace, renovations are being carried out to the East Wing, which only leaves 873 spare bedrooms, so... Sorry, Dawn. How has Donald Trump described the Queen in the past?
Perfect. She's never made a mistake.
Well, let's have a look at how he describes her.
She is an incredible woman. She is so sharp. She is so beautiful. When I say beautiful, inside and out, that is a beautiful woman.
I hope Prince Philip still got his car.
What's been the reaction to Trump's invitation?
A lot of people are angry about it and they don't want him to come.
We have had some worse people over, haven't we? I mean, we made a huge song and dance for the Chinese and they came along in the gold coach and all the protesters were moved to one side in case they mentioned human rights or anything. So, I mean, we've got a lot of practice. We can do it again.
That's the spirit.
Well, there has been uproar from the opposition, and apart from John Bercow, there's been some Labour MPs complaining as well as the Scottish Nationalists and the Greens, and according to The Guardian, they've demanded that the invitation be withdrawn, and MPs are preparing a petition. But they can't agree on the wording, so they're going to hold a series of indicative votes. And what kind of hardware will the Americans be bringing over to protect President Trump?
He always brings his own car, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he's big armoured.
The beast.
Trumpmobile.
The Beast. He's actually bringing 2 beasts.
Two
beasts? Yes. Heavily armoured limousines. According to the Mail on Sunday, one is used as a decoy to confuse attackers. If any attackers are watching, the decoy's on the left. Anyone know any of the other features of the Beast?
Cup holder? I mean, it's got to have at least one, hasn't it?
White, clean seats.
Oh, you make that noise, but if it didn't have it, you'd soon notice.
Yeah.
Well, according to the Mail, it's accident-proof and can keep... It can keep moving even if the tyres have been destroyed. So it's so safe they might even let Prince Philip have one last drive. Who's going to know exactly what Trump's plans are and even what he's thinking?
Is it Huawei?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it may well be China, because they and the Russians have hacked into his mobile phone, apparently. But he does love the Chinese, or Donald, and they love him, apparently. Let's have a look.
if you look at Mr. Pillsbury, the leading authority on China, he was on a good show, I won't mention the name of the show, recently, and he was saying that China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Right.
And the Chinese have enthusiastically embraced digital technology as well as spying. So how is Theresa May planning to really crack down on their attempts at espionage?
She's going to let them build part of our new 5G technology mobile systems.
Yes.
Because she's decided they can be trusted.
She is indeed allowing the Chinese firm Huawei... No.
Hawaii.
She's allowing the Chinese firm No, come on.
Nokia.
Nokia.
Say Nokia. It's Nokia, it's easier.
How am I going to say this? Someone help me out.
Huawei. Huawei.
This is the sort of top-notch stuff they'll be listening into. What do they say? They're still trying to pronounce our company name.
She is allowing the Chinese firm Huawei to build part of the 5G network infrastructure, because obviously Theresa May's decided to ignore the advice of experts and press on regardless, because that's always worked for her in the past. But what is the worry about Huawei?
But you're a security expert. You sit on committees. Yeah, Paul.
I'm not at liberty to discuss my other roles.
Sorry, I'll take that back. Johnny,
Yeah.
you were in the army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sit on that committee. Is this a good idea?
No, I mean, it doesn't sound great, but the people who know this stuff seem to think it's all right, but, you know...
You don't sound totally lukewarm, even.
My political vim and vigour is on its last legs, I think. Much like the government.
The rest of the world. You know how we feel.
So back to Donald Trump. Who will not be meeting him? Probably ever.
Winston Churchill.
Someone who's more specifically in the news this week and is still alive.
Oh, a member of the royal family?
No.
No.
No, they have to, I think.
Yeah.
Poor fuckers.
I don't think either part of that is true.
Still disappointed by the lack of knighthood.
Who was in the news this week who's particularly disgruntled with what Donald's doing to the world?
Greta Thunberg, the Swedish...
Greta Thunberg.
activist,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yes. The climate change activist and founder of the school strike movement. There she is. Or as the Mail described her, the pigtailed wunderkind. She said she will not meet him. There's no point because he's not interested in science. But who did she meet this week?
She met party leaders, didn't she?
Except for Theresa May.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who sent an empty chair.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She sent Gove, but it's much the same thing. She didn't turn up. She was very busy.
That's right. She met all sorts of political leaders, plus Michael Gove. And she said that MPs have lied to the younger generation about climate change, among other things. Here she is inspiring Britain in the Times.
Oh, it's Caroline Lucas.
Unfortunate headline just to the right. Greta isn't the only person in her family to be a big hit in Europe. Anyone know what her mother is famous for?
For a Eurovision Song Contest entry.
Yes.
And for some reason, the press in Britain decided this meant that she was privileged, middle class, and therefore should be ignored.
Right.
Write a load of journalists who are middle class, privileged, and should largely be ignored, I promise.
Let's have a look at her.
Yeah.
Stay up, darling, go.
Do you like that sort of thing?
Yeah, she's half woman, half ostrich.
The effects of climate change carry on regardless. Do you want to see footage of an unfortunate Australian politician talking about the devastation to fish down under? Have a look at this.
In Australia, dead fish, a massive stink. Oh, sorry, I'm going to stop. And effectively, it runs into the billions of fish. At the moment, numbers are saying hundreds of thousands to millions. This river system will run about another 150 kilometres. So if you have these type of kills up and down, you'll be talking of billions of fish. Billions of fish being destroyed by this government. Any last words, Dick?
I feel sorry for Jeremy, I'll tell you.
No.
Poor bastard.
Brilliant.
This is Donald Trump's official state visit to the UK in June for the D-Day celebrations. Buckingham Palace have denied that the Queen is reluctant to meet Donald Trump again, although rumour has it she spent the last 48 hours trying to lure Jeanette Charles out of retirement. Ian and Zoe, take a look at this.
World's first she-rhinal.
And there's Farage.
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, yes, the new Vileda super mop. Very absorbent.
This is the news that the Brexit Party unveiled their candidates this week. Let's face it, they're not likely to have many veiled ones.
This is the future of British politics. You must be terrified, Johnny.
Fantastic. It's interesting because Anne Widdecombe's actually president of my Conservative Association. I haven't heard from her for 2 years. First I saw of her was this week. I mean, I thought she died, actually. But...
It's worse than that. She's joined the Brexit Party.
Yes, so in the local elections, she will still vote Conservative.
Yes.
But on May 23rd, she'll vote for the Brexit Party.
Because she's standing for it.
Yes.
And she's hoping to get one vote.
Well, she also wrote, "The last thing I wanted was a full-on return to the political fray."
Oh,
she's not the only one.
Yeah.
Who's forced her to do this, then?
I think it's just a list of reality shows, and being an MEP is the bottom. She's done everything else. Strictly, Fat Farm, Good Evening. I don't think that's actually a show.
What's the format of Good Evening?
12 people come on and they say good evening. And one of them gets voted out because no one likes the way they said it.
Yeah.
And it's whittled down. There's a lot of backstory, a lot of, you know, illness, tragedy. And then in the end, only one person's left who gets to say good evening to the Queen. Don't laugh, someone will buy it.
Hang on, I'm more interested in Fat Farm.
Celebrity Fat Farm. You had to lose weight.
Is that genuinely a programme?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Johnny, you're so out of touch with the people.
It was a follow-up to Celebrity Clack Clinic. Did you see that? I think Anne Widdecombe won that one, didn't she?
She did, yeah. She did. That's why I'm so bitter about it. I came second.
Yeah, well...
But you were on a reality show. You were on Hunted.
I was, yeah, to raise money for Stand Up to Cancer, yeah.
Right.
It's good.
Oh, you pulling that old charity
Yeah.
Well, of
angle.
course, yeah. Because I can just see you cocking your...
What?
Got better eyesight than me.
Yeah.
How long did you survive before you were found?
I won. I mean,
Oh, you won?
know.
You're applauding the fact that one of your elected representatives bunked off for 2 weeks and went on telly instead.
Yeah, absolutely right. What a good man.
This libel trial's going to go well.
I can't wait.
What bit did the BBC get wrong?
This idea... so I run a company that trains veterans to go into cyber employment.
Yeah.
And 4 companies away from that, there's a company that's gone bust.
Yeah, it's not many companies. It's quite a big company. 4 people being arrested. Big story.
It's a big story, but it's got nothing to do with me.
you never...
Well, of course not.
Not
Why would I have
interested in
anything
who
to do with
provided your
financial products?
£85,000 salary?
Yes,
For a
and it was
4-hour
provided through business in that company that company generated. That
How
had
does
nothing
training
to do with us,
veterans
yeah.
make enough money to earn you 85
Because if you
grand?
train them in cyber security, and they have specialist skills. They go into FTSE 100 companies and they earn quite a lot of money in cybersecurity. I sound like a right bastard, don't I, doing this whole sort of veterans employment thing?
No, it's not the veterans bit. It's the £85,000
Yeah,
for a 4-hour job.
I know.
when if you really wanted to help-
I know what you're thinking because you're
I'm thinking, why don't you do it for free?
I know, because you get 20 grand for 2 hours tonight, don't you?
Yeah, but the people who've lost money out of this company
Yeah.
are very cross with you. It's about your behaviour and the fact that you didn't know and didn't ask as a non-executive director, where does the money come from for this
I did
company?
ask where it came from, and it came from the business that's generated by the business that we do.
They were providing the money that kept your company going.
No, they
You were a
didn't.
non-exec.
No, they didn't. That's why the BBC are being sued for libel, because no money went from that company into Crucial Academy.
But it did, though.
OK, well, you can keep saying that, but it really didn't. It
No,
still
no,
didn't.
I'm just saying the change...
This is one for Judge Rinder, I think.
Yeah. I am merely trying to establish the facts. You say you're going to sue the BBC for reporting a story that everybody else has run, and you say that's not how the money got there.
I am absolutely sure that not a single penny has come from LCF and gone into Crucial Academy. If it has,
Well,
I
it
would
hasn't
leave.
gone directly in. It's gone into a series of
No,
other companies.
directly or indirectly. If it had, I would leave. Any
All
more?
right, well, we'll see what happens.
This is like all of my Christmas dinners with my family.
Remember Anne Widdecombe?
I'm sorry, David, it's a big story. 4 people were arrested, and I know you think that your political enemies have smeared you with this story, but
No, I
it is
don't.
there.
No, I don't.
It's in the news.
No, I don't think that. I don't think they have smeared me with this story.
But you have accused the Deputy Chief Whip of trying to dig up dirt.
The Deputy Chief Whip has decided to go and ask friends of mine that I served with in the military whether or not things in my book were correct. And obviously I found out, wasn't overly pleased. That book was signed off by the parents of individuals who were killed in that war and who fought with me and my soldiers, but obviously not good enough for the Deputy Chief Whip. And when I confronted him about it, he claimed that was his job, to kick the tyres. And when I spoke to my friend, who he had actually spoken to, he hadn't done anything like that at all. He tried to get some dirt and blackmail me to vote for the Prime Minister's deal in January.
That's why they did it, to try and force your vote.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice place, politics.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. Why did I sign up?
Why did you?
Yeah.
Like Anne Widdecombe. Remember her? She didn't want to return to politics, presumably for very good
Yeah, I
reasons.
can't think why.
Yeah. She said I was content with the fun of my annual pantomime appearances.
She's the only one who was.
Anyone seen Anne Widdecombe's Twanky?
No.
Nobody ever has.
Who funds the Brexit Party?
Is it Aaron Banks?
Well, is it Aaron Banks?
I'm asking you.
According to Party Treasurer Philip Basie, individual donations from members of the public are flooding in. Let's have a look at Nigel Farage being asked if Aaron Banks is donating any money. This is him on Politics Live.
Has Aaron Banks expressed any interest?
Yeah.
Aaron Banks has expressed interest in funding
No.
the party.
No.
No. But do you think he would be interested?
No.
No. OK.
No.
At,
that's 4
at
times.
any point?
Thank you. No, that's 5 times. You can keep going if you want to. I don't mind. I can knock the ball back every time. No.
What are 6 in 10 Conservatives planning to do?
Vote for Farage.
Yeah, according to a survey from the Conservative Home website, 6 in 10 Tories intend to vote for the Brexit Party. Is this a bit of a worry for the old guard?
Yeah, obviously it's a big problem. Government has its #1 strategic policy and fails to deliver it. People get a bit pissed off. I think we might see that in the elections.
Will you be standing again?
When?
Whenever the general election is.
Yes.
For which party?
Don't tap your finger on there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Does that ruin the show?
No, we're doing it.
We're doing that ourselves.
Yeah.
Who are you backing in the Conservative leadership election?
There isn't one. There isn't a Conservative leadership.
Should there be one in the near future, if that's something we could
I
dare to
don't
imagine?
know if that's going to happen.
What are they doing running around trying to get each other's votes, then?
You're not going to believe this, but some of my colleagues are slightly more fixated with their own careers than what's going on in Brexit. I know.
Now that is shocking.
Right. Absolute shock. So, yeah, some people are running around trying to be Prime Minister at a time of national crisis.
Including Mrs May.
Who did the independent group announce would be standing for them in the European elections?
Oh, this is the race to get people's sisters
Yes.
on board, because Brexit's got Rees-Mogg's sister,
Right.
Annunciata.
Is that how you pronounce it? I've been calling her inoculation.
They got Annunciata, so the Brexit party said, well, we've got Boris's sister. It's a macho fight to
Yes.
have other people's relatives.
Rachel Johnson, indeed. She said it wasn't a vote against her brother Boris, but to retain the opportunities we currently have to live and work in Europe. She doesn't want to see Boris rubbing them out. Meanwhile, what does Jeremy Corbyn intend to do if he becomes Prime Minister?
Fucking hell. Where do you start?
Well, something very specific that the Mail on Sunday found out. He plans to boycott Downing Street and remain living in his North London home. I mean, he won't be able to rent it out with the 4 climate change protesters glued to his front fence anyway. But he's also promised to introduce more bank holidays for patron saints' days.
Yes,
if he comes
all
to
of us.
power. Yeah. Although this week Labour wished its followers on social media a happy St George's Day 24 hours early.
But they were everyone was wrong, because
Right.
George's Day is not till the 29th, because of Easter week.
Yes, indeed, there is some... It's a movable feast.
It is.
Yes.
The original movable feast.
Yes.
A bit like a burger van.
Do you want to hear the church's rules
Yes,
as laid out in
please.
common worship?
At last, something decent on
When St George's Day falls between Palm Sunday and the second Sunday of Easter inclusive, it's transferred to the Monday after the second Sunday of Easter. Obviously.
Excellent.
But, whatever, Diane Abbott had already cracked open a celebratory can of mojito, so... seemed a shame to waste it. Yes, these are the forthcoming European elections. As she introduced new candidates, leader of the independent group, Heidi Allen, enthused, "A call went out from Tigger Towers. We need a team, and wow, did you hear us? I'm like a proud Tigger mum to introduce our new Tiggers."
Oh, God.
Carries on like that. The most wonderful thing about Tiggers will be she's the only one. Time now for round 2. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one-armed bandit of news.
One person clapped.
Does any of you know the story?
What the hell is that?
Well, this is the news that there's a bent pole in Gloucester. Gloucestershire Live broke the story. Why is this pole at Gloucester Docks bent over? Anyone here have any idea?
Is this really the top story of the week?
Well, if anybody does know how the pole got bent, and I'm throwing this open, Gloucestershire Live would like to hear from you. Did you see what happened to the pole? Email glosslivenews@reachplc.com. OK. Fingers on buzzer.
Well, what is that? Was that it? That is the worst story you've ever had in this show.
Yeah. It's a public service announcement. Here we go. Yes.
Right, they found the cause of the bent pole in Gloucester. It was this 5-foot-tall donkey. Yeah, he's the world's biggest donkey, probably.
Yeah, well, it's the news that a British donkey could be about to become the world's tallest donkey.
Ah.
Shall we have a look at Britain's biggest donkey?
Yeah.
Sorry. Here's Derek the donkey, anyway.
Derek?
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
On the left, he's a mammoth jackstock donkey. How tall is Derek at the moment?
It says 5'7".
No, no, no. I'd like the answer in hands, please.
Oh,
17, 18?
Not bad.
well done.
16.3 hands.
yeah. It looks
Which is an
tight.
inch short of the world record. But Derek is expected to smash that record. Smash it.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's only 5 years old, so
Oh.
still has another 2 years of expected growth.
Oh, go on, Derek.
What? What else can you see at the Radcliffe Donkey Sanctuary?
A Z-donkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've got Z-donks
Yeah.
and a zonkey.
Yeah. Well, it's a donkey and a zebra combo.
It's a zebra crossing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you know what the difference is between a Z-donk and a zonkey?
Is it one's male donkey and then with a female zebra and the other's a male zebra with a female donkey?
We don't know, but if you do, please email Gloucestershire Live at glosslivenews@reachplc.com. Does anyone happen to know who the current world record holder for biggest donkey is?
No, you better tell us.
It's a mammoth jackstock donkey in Texas called Romulus.
He's eaten Remus.
He was crowned biggest donkey in 2013 when he took over from Oklahoma Sam. Here's a recent photo of Oklahoma Sam. Who wants to play a little game?
Yeah, I'll play a little game.
Yeah. Come on. I'm going to show you some more animal crossovers. I want you to tell me what two animals they came from and what they're called.
Yeah.
Fingers on buzzers, teams.
OK.
What is this?
Wow.
God.
Oh,
Yes.
it's a tiger lion.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Change UK.
It's a...
Liger.
It's a liger. Well
Liger.
done. Yeah, this is fun. Next, what's this crossbreed?
Oh.
A polar bear and a brown bear?
Yes, a polar bear and a grizzly bear.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Otherwise known as a...
Grispo.
Grispo, yeah, that's a good one.
Not a growler.
Pisley. Pisley.
Pisley. It's a
Pisley.
Pisley. And finally, what about this one?
Whoa.
Came out.
That's Donald Trump and...
He's quite a big chap, isn't he?
Good Lord, yes.
He uses it as a sundial. that photograph was taken at midday.
It's a cow and a buffalo. So what would that be called?
A cuffalo?
Nope.
A bow?
No. It's rather deliciously called a beefalo.
Oh.
Beefalo.
In other news, a pair of animals in Africa have caused a sensation with a photograph this week. Anyone see that?
Oh, yes.
Go on.
Yeah, the two gorillas.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Sat there doing a selfie and taking the piss out of it. It was good.
A pair of endangered gorillas in the Congo who posed for a selfie with the park rangers protecting them. Here it is.
Where's this one's hands?
Don't know.
In his pockets.
Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here we go.
Is this the story about a Scottish Maritime Museum?
Yes.
That has decided to make all of its boats gender neutral?
Yes.
Because they've had vandalism on a number of their plaques beside boats that have mentioned the word she or her as a vessel.
That's absolutely right. Scottish Maritime Museum is going to stop referring to ships as she. According to the Daily Mail, they've decided to introduce a gender-neutral interpretation of craft. And from now on, we'll be referring to boats as it.
I mean, I don't understand this at all. I don't find calling a boat the least bit sexist if it's she. I mean, it's a compliment. Surely it's a big vessel that goes around the world and explores new places and all of that. It's not like we're going, oh, look at the buoyancy on her. I mean, it's, you know... Of course it's a she. She's got a bottle of Prosecco thrown at her every time she goes out for the first time.
What phrase did The Sun adapt for its headline to this story?
It was ship for brains.
That was it.
Ship brains,
It was terrible. Like a mission statement for the Sun. It should have been sailing the 7 seas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good...
I'm wasted. I should have been a journalist.
Most journalists are wasted, so you were right.
Yeah.
But why are ships historically called she or her?
They don't really know, I think, but a lot of it is because in the old days you used to say the ships could be unpredictable and therefore like a woman, you know, which is a bit... I get it. I nearly didn't come this afternoon. But so I got halfway here and thought, oh, fuck it, you know, so...
Well, modern experts say it's because ships are like mother figures playing a protective role over the crew.
It's quite sweet. I think a lot of it was superstitious, because these guys, you know, they used to go away for, like, 2 years and say this would be their mother, and they would, you know, feel that all nice and comfortable inside her and a bit weird.
Titanic was definitely a bloke, though, wasn't it? Just ploughing on. Oh, shut up, Marjorie. It'll be absolutely...
Yes, this is the news that the Scottish Maritime Museum is going to stop referring to ships as she. The museum said, "We recognise the changes in society and are committed to introducing gender-neutral interpretation. There's even plans for an exhibition about ships that have recently become transatlantic." Time now for the odd one out round. It's just one between you this week. A dog in Thailand, Scott Mann, MP, Judith Strang from Texas, and Damien Green. Yes?
Now, Scott Mann, colleague of Johnny's,
Yeah.
and I believe there was an incident where Johnny actually saved his life from drowning. So I'm guessing that he is perhaps the odd one out in that the other three all float.
Is that right? Did you save his life?
Yeah, I mean, it's just because I thought he had my wallet, actually.
So, Johnny, this is... Tell us about this incident.
Yeah, so we were on a boat, actually, and we were going to swim to a pub, and we anchored offshore. And before I knew it, I was messing around with the anchor, and he jumped in. And I thought he could swim, and it was pretty clear that he couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, I went in after him and dragged him out.
I mean, you're in the right ballpark,
OK.
and you've identified the right thing, but you've not got the right odd one out.
The dog's not a human?
He got sacked from the Tory party, or did he resign?
Damien Green's still an MP. He was Deputy Prime Minister and then had a slight...
There was some porn found on a computer that he had access to, and the other three people featured in the film he was watching.
They've all been rescued at sea, apart from Damien Green, who had to be rescued from a river. He was thrown in as part of a student prank while studying at Oxford University. But more recently, who did Damien Green have a run-in with outside Parliament?
Yeah, so there's a set of protesters that are, like, permanently outside Parliament, so that when anyone goes on TV, they just heckle with quite amusing abuse, to be honest, some of it. But obviously some of it's not. And Damien Green came off an interview and met this chap who's dressed in a European flag and told him that in a contested field, you are by far the biggest here. No. And he was right.
Let's have a look.
Hello, can I ask how you're feeling about the vote yesterday?
No, you can't, because you've just tried to shout over an interview I've done, like you do everyone else.
I didn't. I was singing.
You are the biggest wanker.
Don't worry, they'll keep your answer in. So, you got any plans after the next election?
As we've established, Scott Mann was saved from the sea by Johnny, but why was he in the news more recently?
Well, he had a good idea, didn't he?
What was his idea?
So Scott woke up one morning and decided that one of the problems with knife crime was that there were too many knives on the street. And actually, if we put a GPS device in every knife handle, we'd be able to know where they all were when there was a crime.
Yeah.
Within about 3 or 4 seconds of tweeting this, he regretted it, but not the best.
He got as far as tweeting it.
He did,
It came out that far.
It came out that far. And then he sat on it for a couple of hours, actually. It's quite impressive.
It actually took him 2 days to decide to admit that it was a bit of a shit idea. Where did this dog end up at sea?
Australia.
Hawaii. Same 5G company we're talking about.
Not quite. It was spotted last week by oil rig workers in Thailand 135 miles from shore.
Wow.
Who threw that stick?
Wow.
And how had the dog managed to get that far out to sea?
Swamp.
It's swamp.
He had crafted a raft out of passing coconut husks and bits of bamboo.
And Anne Widdecombe.
Well, the trouble is nobody really knows.
Oh, OK.
Oh, this is in Gloucester Live.
If you do have a solution, please do get in touch. glosslivenews@reachplc.com. And finally, where did Judith Strang from Texas end up in the sea?
On holiday, was it? On holiday somewhere?
Yes, she was on a tour of...
The fjords.
She was in Iceland. She sat down on some ice which had formed in the shape of a throne and was promptly carried out to sea.
How hot is her arse?
They've all had to be rescued from the sea, apart from Damien Green, who had to be rescued from being thrown in a river. One of Damien Green's best friends at Oxford was Theresa May, who, after the attack by the group of young Conservatives, hatched a plan to get back at them by waiting 40 years, then destroying their entire party. The iceberg incident happened a couple of weeks ago, after which the accident-prone granny completed her tour of Europe with a trip to Paris, where she lit a candle in Notre Dame. Time now for the missing words round. This week it features as its guest publication British Naturism, a magazine of the British Naturist Society. Big news is that the chief photographer has got the sack. Lovely photo.
Have I got nudes for you?
We start with attending a naturist event requires what?
No clothes. Self-confidence.
Balls.
It requires no previous experience. This is from an article in British Naturism. Each year at Alton Towers, the naturists have a theme. In 2018, it was an Irish night. Presumably, most people were there for the crack.
Is that a career highlight for you?
Next. Every year, people in Britain steal £186 million worth of what?
Petrol.
Post-it notes.
Pint glasses.
You're getting closer, actually.
Souvenir miniature figures of Peter Shilton.
Mugs.
Cutlery.
Knives.
Oh,
Salt and pepper
I think you
holders.
get that. It's tableware from restaurants.
That's it. Yes.
Items of stolen tableware include small knives and soup spoons, and that's just for starters. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Forget Hamlet. This is the big one.
Next. 1998 prediction of what by 2020 is likely to be wrong?
Brexit happening.
Is it perfect vision?
Yeah.
It's what David Beckham would look like.
Oh.
This is from a 1998 article from football magazine 442, which re-emerged on Twitter this week and included an artist's impression of what David Beckham would look like in 2020. Here it is.
That's very unfortunate. Well, he's going to look like Wayne Rooney.
Next. The undoubted highlight of the Naturist Society's winter break in Bournemouth was what?
A warm hand on their entrance.
Skinny dipping.
Leaving Bournemouth.
It was Barry's evening quiz.
Huh?
Was that fingers on buzzers? Bet it was.
As you can imagine, this is an article from British Naturism magazine. You really don't want to see the editor's column.
I'm glad one person is enjoying it. That's good.
These are my favourite.
Yeah.
And finally, 72-year-old becomes the oldest competitor in what?
Young Conservatives Leadership.
It's the World Coal Carrying Championships.
Oh.
Yes.
Of course.
This is David Page. This week, he became the oldest person to compete in the Coal Carrying World Championships, which takes place every year in Gawthorpe, in Yorkshire. Last year, the event was nearly cancelled due to snow. Well, this year, it was the hottest on record. What on earth could have caused such a dramatic difference in temperature? Wondered the competitors as they lined up with their bags of coal. Which means the final scores are 5 points each! Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Ian and Zoe have this.
We built a wall and we got Maureen to pay for it.
ITV cuts budget of Through the Keyhole. Goggle Brick. It's a new series. You just watch bricks. It's going to follow up to my other show.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Paul and Johnny get that.
Good evening.
It's a winner.
And I leave you with news that there's embarrassment in spy circles as two agencies realise they've used exactly the same manual for their latest assassination plot. In the Arctic, as the walrus mating season begins, a pervert looks on. And ahead of another crucial EU summit, Britain's gift of the world's largest frankfurter appears to have gone down well with the German delegation. Good night.
With help from 150 dads, join the Dope Black Dads from 1Extra. They're talking about everything from parenting, sport and girls. Listen now through the BBC Sounds app.